Welcome to Ghost Tales, where we have a little fun diving into tales about the supernatural, a little fun sharing of stories and things like that. With me today is Keith Nitka. He served on the battleship Wisconsin during Desert Storm, Desert Shield. And so welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate being here.
Yeah, we love having you here. We love having veterans here too. We
Thank
just
you.
love having you in the studio.
Excellent.
Talk a little bit about, first of all, talk about your history with the Wisconsin, because you served on the Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And how great is it that you get to visit it all the time?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic to be down here with it now. So Battleship Wisconsin was my second at sea command. I was a quartermaster in the Navy, so I did navigation work on the enlisted side. But Battleship Wisconsin was my second seagoing command, and I joined her crew in 1990, just in time for what they told us was going to be an extended Mediterranean cruise. And then Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, and our extended Mediterranean cruise turned into Desert Shield, which then turned into Desert Storm. But, you know, looking back on all of it, of course, I would have liked to have gone to the Mediterranean,
Yes.
but because I didn't get to do that on my first ship, I went to South America instead. But
Wow.
so I would have liked to have gone to the Mediterranean, but I wouldn't really change anything. I wouldn't trade anything for my experiences.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. So talk a little bit about your experience on the Wisconsin as you were serving. What was your duties? What was life like on the Wisconsin day to day?
Sure. So I worked in the navigation department. It's on Wisconsin. It's bigger than small ships, but smaller than like you'd have on an aircraft carrier today. But I was middle management. I was an E5, so I had a few people below me. I had a few people above me. But day-to-day life was fixing charts, correcting charts, practicing my navigation skills, because it was the time where you used paper charts. We weren't using electronic charts like they do now. And GPS was not a thing in the 1980s, 1990s. So we were still shooting stars, doing celestial navigation, all that stuff. So a lot of people ask me, like, what was your job in the Navy? And I say, quartermaster. And what I can equate it to that everybody knows is everything that Christopher Columbus or Magellan would have done. That's what I can do too. But I can also use radar and GPS, Laura and Charlie, to help me get to where I'm going.
Now, do you think your way was better than what we have today?
No, I don't think it was better. It's different.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about doing celestial navigation back then was, if you're not in the business of navigation, not a lot of people know how to do it. Mm-hmm. And I know the Navy went away from it for a while, but they started bringing it back because at the end of the day, if you lose electronics, you've got to do something to get you from point A to point B, and that's all celestial navigation. And it's really the same stuff that Christopher Columbus was doing coming across the Atlantic Ocean on his first voyage in 1492.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are they teaching it now more in the Navy?
I think so. I don't honestly know. I know that it went away for a while because they were going to rely heavily on electronics. And then I understand at some point in time they started teaching it back in the academy, and then it was supposed to trickle down. But I can't honestly say. I don't run in those circles anymore. I hope they still, at least try anyway, because it's a really cool skill to have.
Yes.
Just to be able to say you can do celestial navigation and figure out where you are based on the stars.
Really, really neat. Okay. So how long were you on the Wisconsin? How long did you serve on that?
So I was on Wisconsin for maybe 14 months or so, 15, March, April, May, June, July, 16 months. 16 months I was on board Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And then my initial enlistment ended, and then I ended up in the reserves after that. So my first ship was a destroyer, and then I transferred over to Wisconsin, and then I transferred into the reserves.
And what class is the Wisconsin?
She's an Iowa class, and she is the last. She's the last battleship built by the United States Navy. She is the last battleship to fire her main armament, the 16-inch, 50-inch guns in anger. and she's the last of the Iowas.
Yes, and we're very proud of her here in
Yes.
Norfolk. We
Yes.
love having her here. And talk about what you do in Norfolk now, or in the area, because
So-
you're not in.
I can't.
You can't talk about it. Okay, we're not going to talk about it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't.
It's top secret. We can't talk about it.
No. Yeah, but yeah.
Okay. I love it. So when you were on, well, you had a couple experiences that
Yes.
were a little of the paranormal type when you were on the Wisconsin and when you were off the Wisconsin, because you did work for a time at Nauticus.
Yes, I did.
And so we're going to, first of all, we're going to take a short break. And then we're going to talk about the strange experiences that we had, that we experienced on the Wisconsin. We'll be right back. We're very nautically themed here at Wavy.
Well, it is wavy.
It is wavy, yes.
Yes.
Perfect for today.
Exactly.
So we want to welcome back folks from the commercial break. We've got Keith Nitka here with us today. He served on the USS Wisconsin during Desert Storm, Desert Shield, which later became Desert Storm.
Right.
Served on the battleship Wisconsin.
Yes.
And we've got some pictures here of you, and talk a little bit about this shot here. Oh, we lost him.
Yeah.
We got a shot of Michael.
I made a brief cameo today.
Yes, we love having Michael with us today. Michael Rusil, who's helping us out. So, yes, we've got one of the pictures. Do we have it? Can we get it back?
Yeah.
Okay. So talk a little bit. You had a strange experience, paranormal type experience on the Wisconsin when you were serving on it.
Yes.
And again, when you were off. But talk about this
Yeah.
picture here.
So this picture is part of the navigation team on board Battleship Wisconsin. It's not all of us together, but the navigator there in the center, Lieutenant Commander Freeman, Ronald Freeman, he grabbed us, and that's inside the chart house. And if you've been inside the chart house or you know the ship itself, that's the camera is facing the starboard side of the ship.
Okay.
Okay, so that's me there behind Kevin Kirk, the third class petty officer. Above me
Who's
is
standing in the back?
yeah, above me is Simon Sigilski. So I'm right there in the middle at the Gator's shoulders. But we all stay in contact with each other. We served together on board Battleship Wisconsin during combat, so we're a tight group.
Tight group, yeah.
Because it wasn't a big department. Like I said, it was bigger than smaller ships, but not as big as some of the carriers would have. But we were a tight-knit group.
Neat.
And
y'all still keep in touch.
yeah, we sure do. It's actually really cool to talk to everybody. When Facebook is a wonderful thing.
Yes.
It brought all that back, brought us all back together again.
Oh,
like
good.
that. Yeah, a few
Good.
years ago. But yeah.
That's really neat. I love that. So talk about this experience that you had. When did this happen?
Sure. So it's late October, early November of 1990. So we're just coming towards the end of Desert Shield. We don't know it, of course, but we're coming towards the end of Desert Shield here.
Yes.
And the weirdest thing, so the navigation department is responsible for all navigation tools, and the lookouts on board Battleship Wisconsin, they are in deck division, but the binoculars that they use belong to us, navigation.
Okay.
So we go out to sea, we give them the binoculars, and then we don't really see them again until we pull back into port and we get our binoculars back.
Okay.
So there was this one day where the officer of the deck was seeing something, and the forward lookout, he was asking the forward lookout, "Can you confirm this is what I see?" And he said, "No, sir, I can't." And why can't you? And then the boatswain of the watch got involved, of course, because his guys aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So what is the problem here? Well, sir, the binoculars that I have are broken. Oh, so it turns into a thing. The binoculars that the forward lookout have are broken, and there's a war, on the horizon here, but he can't see anything. And
Wow.
they never bothered to tell anybody that the binoculars were broken. So we issued the forward lookout a new pair of binoculars, and then Chief Larson there, the other khaki. So Commander Freeman's in the middle there, Chief Larson. He decides that we're going to keep this log of binoculars. So as when you come on watch, there's two of us on watch at a time. There's the quartermaster of the watch, and then there's the watch soup. Me as a E5, I am the watch soup. I have to go and check the binoculars. So this particular evening, I have the mid-watch come on just before 11:45, and then I've got to go and check the binoculars. So I go up to the,
That's all right.
I go up to the forward lookout, and everything's good with him. I go back to the aft lookout. Now the aft lookout in the evening moves from the fantail up to the after missile decks. So he's up on the kind of like in between the O3 and the O4 level. That's how high he is. And I go back there and I check his binoculars. So I go around the corner where he is, check his binoculars, everything's good. He signs the logbook, I sign the logbook, and I start to walk away. Now, this particular evening, there is no moon. There is no stars. There's nothing out there at all you can see. It's pitch black. Pitch black, black like the cover on the microphone here. You can't see a darn thing in front of you, anywhere around you. There's no moonlight whatsoever. So I'm walking away now. I'm walking forward on the ship through the after missile decks on the port side, and I am going back to the pilot house. And I got about halfway in between the two the armored box launchers, the missile launchers there. And you get that feeling you're being watched, you know? So I think maybe I get this feeling I'm being watched, and I think maybe it's the aft lookout. Now, I'm one of 1,600 sailors on board this ship, and I certainly don't know everybody on the board, and they don't know me. So maybe it's him, I'm thinking. He just doesn't know what to say, what to call me. He's got a question or something like that. So I think it's him. So I turn around, and when I turn around, there now in front of me from just where I came is this billowy white, pure as the driven snow, white, smoky thing floating in front of me. Well, obviously it's not the aft lookout. So, so I turn around and I start walking back to where I was going, the pilot house. And when I turn around, it's now there in front of me there. So I then turn around again. So I'm looking aft again towards the aft lookout. And he's around the corner, so I can't see him. He's around the corner, but it's there again. Now I am halfway between two armored box launchers. So instead of walking where I was going to walk, I now go outboard of the missile launchers. I go around in front of the missile launchers and I run back up to the pilot house. And when I get up to the pilot house, just at that time, the Marine rover is checking in. So with doing navigation work and keeping the deck log for the ship, I got friendly with some of the Marines. I would talk to some of them. They knew me, I knew them, and stuff like that. So this particular Marine who comes up is Lance Corporal Rickman. He's the Marine rover. And when I get to the pilot house, I'm panting and I'm bent over and I'm dripping sweat. And Rickman looks at me and he says, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "Well, I was just back on the missile decks and this is what I encountered." And he said to me, now the funny thing about the Marine rover is that he's dressed to the hilts for combat. He's in his Kevlar, he's got his flak jacket, he's carrying a rifle, he's got a M9, nightstick, all that stuff.
He's ready to go.
He's ready to go, yeah. And I tell him what happened and he said, "You went back there? We don't ever go back there. There's ghosts back there." That's what he says to me. Now
So this is well known.
Yeah, well, apparently in the Mardet.
Yeah.
Wow. I was not aware of this, but apparently in the Mardet they knew about it. So they don't, because there's ghosts back there. And then he starts telling me about how they've been back there and they've seen floating arms and legs and stuff like that back there in this same exact spot that I was in. So I always made a point when I go back there in the dark. I always made a point to take a flashlight with me. I got rid of the little red lens so I could have a white light to see myself back there and back again. But yeah, that's the story that I've got.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we have to stop for another commercial break, but we will be right back with what he experienced after serving on the USS Wisconsin. We'll be right back. Maybe we should have a little moaning sound as well when we come back from commercial break.
Yeah, that'll fit really well.
That
Yeah.
would.
Yeah,
Yes, it would. We've got Keith Nitka here with us talking about his time on the battleship Wisconsin, your time during Desert Shield, and the floating, I mean, just white apparitions here on the ship, just kind of continually following you and kind of in your way. Do you think it was trying to tell you something?
It's possible. I don't know. It's really weird because it was only that one time during Desert Shield when it happened. We continually did those checkups, and I continually had to go back there and check on binoculars, but I never had anything like that ever again happen to me until I started working at Nauticus.
And what did you do at Nauticus?
So when I started working at Nauticus, the first position that I held was the maintenance supervisor. So one of the really neat things about that job was that for like the first hour and a half, I would have the entire battleship to myself, which is very...
Now, did you take this job because it dealt with the Wisconsin?
Oh, yeah, that's how I ended up down here from New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I moved down here from New Jersey specifically to work on board Battleship Wisconsin.
How neat. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's how
go
I ended
ahead.
up down here. No. But and my wife was very instrumental in that too, because we had a life in New Jersey, and I said, "Hey, this happened," and she said, "Well, I think you should do it." And then
Yeah.
that's how we ended up down here.
That's so neat.
But so 2019, I get hired, and for that first hour and a half or so, I am the only person on board that ship. And when you have the entire battleship to yourself, that's really cool. That is
Yeah.
really cool to be on there and know that you're the only living soul on board the battleship.
Keyword.
Yep. So this particular morning, I'm on board the ship. I'm all alone. The sun has come up. So I'm back on the same exact area. I'm working on putting back together a fire station that is there on the port side, the forward half of the after missile deck. So this happened in the middle, so to speak, and I'm at the forward portion of it. And so
You're in the same area
and
you were before.
I'm bent over the fire station working on the hose, and you get that feeling you're being watched, right? So it happens again. And this time I don't stop what I'm doing. I don't stop. I don't turn around. I don't do anything like that. I said to it, I don't know what it is, but I said, "Good morning. I don't know if you remember me. I remember you. And I'm glad you're still here." And that feeling went away.
Oh, wow.
And that was and then that particular morning, that's the last time that I felt anything like that on board the battleship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just looking for some kindness.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I don't know, but yeah,
It's like, it's not my fault I'm spooky. I didn't choose this.
Yeah.
Oh, how neat. But okay, so that's the only other time that you felt that.
Yeah.
And you've been told from other folks that they've had experiences as well. Other servicemen that you
So yeah,
worked with, shipmates?
after the fact, so I'm working at Nauticus, and you get a lot of veterans to the ships, of course, and they tell me stories, and then it leads to something else, and they tell me about their ghost stories. So that I've talked to guys who have actually seen, physical presence, something
More than just a white
because I just
billowy-
had that billowy, smoky thing, but this is I
almost
guess
a
what
fully
they call
formed, like you can recognize the features.
Yes,
and,
it is an actual person, like sitting at a desk or something like that. My daughter, during COVID, came on board the ship with me, and she had a very long discussion with a sailor on the main deck of Battleship Wisconsin. Now, the weird thing about that is that it's just her and myself and my wife. The three of us are the only people on board the ship because it's during COVID, so it was while we were closed. And I'm there for Memorial Day flag raising. So the gift shop was selling flags raised on board the battleship, and my daughter is walking the deck. She's just walking. just walking around, walking
Yeah.
the deck. And it's not till we get home where she tells me, I had a really nice talk with this gentleman on the ship, and he was doing some work over here, and I have a model of the ship, and she showed me where it is. And she said, I talked to him for like 10 minutes, and then he said he had to go back to work. He excused himself. She said he was really polite, and she went back to her walk. And then when she walked around the same place again, he was gone. Who was that? And I said, sweetie, there was nobody there other than you, me, and mom. So
And what was her reaction when she realized?
Yeah, she kind of had that look on her face, and it's like, well, I don't know. He seemed real, and they had this talk, and yeah, he's working on the main deck, port side boat davit is where he was working.
Okay.
I don't know, and he was in
And they
uniform.
had an actual discussion.
Yeah,
they talked back and forth.
They had a discussion, and I've had guests tell me those two sailors that I was talking to down in the mess decks, they were sweeping up. They were great. I enjoyed talking to them. And I'm like, what? They were sailors? And she said, yeah, they were sailors. They were all dressed in their uniforms, and they were sweeping up. They were cleaning. And we didn't have anybody on board that day that was in uniform sweeping. So, because Nauticus gets volunteers from the Navy, and there was nobody on board that day, not in uniform, sweeping, doing work. So,
and was this during like tours and things like that?
During
or
open business.
business
open hours
during the
there.
day? And...
Yep, during the day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is crazy.
There's lots of stories, but when you
when you go on Wisconsin next time, maybe take a camera.
Yeah,
See if you can record them.
But when you think about it, the storied history that Battleship Wisconsin has, so service in World War II, service in Korea, service in the 80s, all the way up to Desert Storm.
Yes.
She's going to have stories to tell, and there's going to be stuff going on over there.
That
Absolutely.
is incredible. Wow. So that's like, oh my goodness. So if you love ghost stories, and this sounds like probably your best chance of maybe talking with a ghost or seeing a ghost.
Yeah.
Go visit the USS Wisconsin.
Yeah, and you never know what you might run into. You might be
never
talking
know.
to somebody. You might not be talking to somebody. You never know.
Well, you'll be talking to somebody, whether they're
this is
really
true.
there. Might just be yourself. But how neat. And so you've just talk about your special feelings toward the Wisconsin. I mean, this is a special ship.
Yeah, I love that ship. She's the absolute, well, that was my home. And a sailor is going to have those affections for their ship because I have pride in my ship. I take pride in my ship. And it's no different than any other sailor or Marine today who's down at Norfolk Navy Base, down on the waterfront. They have pride for their ship. And I have pride for Battleship Wisconsin. I'm very lucky in the fact that my ship is still afloat. My first ship was sold to the Greek Navy, and then she was destroyed in a missile exercise by the Greeks. So she's at the bottom of the Mediterranean, but I still have Battleship Wisconsin. And the battleship took me to, she took me to war, protected me, and brought me home from war. So Battleship Wisconsin, she other than my home, she's my protector in that way. So I have a lot of, Yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking earlier about that special smell, because I have a sweatshirt that was sold when they were commemorating the 80th anniversary of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I bought a sweatshirt that was from the shop on the ship. And I loved wearing it because every time I put it on, you could smell that gunmetal smell that you smell on the ship. And I just love that smell.
Yeah.
And it's just, like you said, it brings back memories.
Yeah, so many memories. With Norfolk, the way that it is, the lot of veterans reunion groups come and stuff like that, and I've had guests come on board from when I was working there. I've had guests come on board and tell me, I never heard Dad tell me that story, or I've never heard that from him before, and it's just that smell. That smell evokes all those memories, and then they get to talking, and sometimes they don't stop.
Yeah. That's special. That's when you bring out the camera, and that's when you make a recording of them telling the stories, and then you've got it forever. So it's very special. It's special to them, so it should be special to you. All right, thank you so much, Keith, for joining us today. And go check out the USS Wisconsin, definitely. And if you have any interesting experiences, you can always email us or email me at ashley.knight@wavy.com, and we just may have you on the show coming up. And if you want to be on the show, if you've got experience, reach out to us, and we'd like to know. And we'll see you next time when we scare up another story to share. Have a good one, everybody.